So I've got my own Metroid Prime-like game in the works here. It's going to be much different from Metroid Prime, but it's going to be it's very inspired by Metroid Prime. I'm kind of building it with the idea of like starting out trying to recreate Metroid Prime mechanics as well as I can, at least certain mechanics that I like from it, and then once I have this established, changing them to make them their own, kind of create my own identity as a game here. Got this little guy modeled. Obviously this is just kind of a block out. That's not what he'll look like in the final. He also looks like he's slouching, which is funny to me. I'll fix that. But we've got a few weapons here. We've got the repeater, which you saw me using. This is the default weapon. Chip away at stuff. We've got the Splikny Javrail, which is our sniper rifle type weapon, and it kind of acts like that rebar gun in Half-Life 2, where you can harpoon people and stick them, but instead of sticking them to walls, it's kind of like a quantum entanglement thing where you just like stick them in space. So I can shoot this guy in the arm and his arm is stuck in space there. And the rest ragdolls for now. I don't know if I'm going to try and do like physical animations to make them kind of like wriggle and try and get out of it, and then maybe like they can break free from it if they work long enough on it. But for right now, it's just this until I get the game further along. The other cool things about this rifle are that it can activate these switches, which open doors. So if I recall that, the door closes. Pretty simple mechanic, but... Oh, also, something I'm doing with this gun is in this demo, you only have 4 rounds, and if you shoot another round, the first one gets taken away, which means your switch will get undone, your object will get unfrozen, whatever. You can also use it to freeze moving objects in the scene. That can be useful for traversal. Oh, I've never landed on it before, on the actual round before. Splikny shard is what we're calling it. We being me, the company. But it's a good way to get across gaps or, freeze something that's moving too fast for you to otherwise be able to use it in that way. And I'm still coming up with some puzzles for that. Oh man, I got on it. It usually is really hard to get on it. I think I've practiced too much. Yeah, I've practiced too much. So that's one of the guns. There's only 3. That's at least right now. There's only 3 guns. This one is the Repulsor, and you can use it to kind of force push things, but notice it also pushes me backwards, and you can use that to jump higher if you time the jump really well. So you don't even need the Splikny Javrail in this case. You can just, if you've got this gun, you can just get up here by launching yourself. In the future, I also plan to allow this gun to blow off pieces of armor, kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn has those armor pieces that break off, and then you expose the weak points, which you can then switch and shoot with the repeater until they're dead. I definitely like the idea of a weak point based system, kind of like Star Fox, where it's like enemies are invulnerable except via certain weak points, and you just kind of figure those out by per enemy. So if we open the door here, we've got bad guys that are kind of trying to kill us. It looked like someone was shooting me. Yeah, I see someone shooting me. I'm just gonna see if I can kill him from here. I haven't yet coded the the me death into this game, all I've coded is if I lose all my health, I ragdoll, but I can still get back up. But then if I keep getting shot, every time I get shot and my health is down to 0, it ragdolls me again. So it's just kind of, I don't know. That's where it is right now. Another thing that I worked on is these terminals, which you interact with. I don't have an interact prompt yet, but I will. Obviously, that's an important feedback. But the idea behind this is kind of like something in a Metroid Prime game where you activate things and those things can come together to form a larger puzzle. So you're like, I need to go over to this room and activate this, that room and activate that, this room and activate this other one, and together, when they all combine, they solve one major puzzle. And then you'll notice this door over here opens, letting me through. Now there's nothing over here as a reward, but it's just kind of a proof of concept. Then we've got the scanner, which I'm really excited about. It acts almost exactly like Metroid Prime's scanner. You get a little object view, you get a little description of the object, and you get, in Metroid Prime, time freezes for you to read what you've scanned. In this game, I've just slowed it down, at least for now. Maybe I'll freeze it just so you can like make sure you know what you're doing when you're fighting an enemy. I kind of like it just slowing down though, so it's a little urgent. And then there's this guy, which is the scout ship. And it doesn't look like much right now, model-wise, but it's super fun to drive. It's the basic hovercraft made with 4 downward tracing lines, basically. And those traces, based on how far they have to trace, the shorter the trace line, the more they push upwards. So you get this really bouncy, floaty, but like super fun vehicle to drive. And I'm a little worried about this being too much fun, actually, because I don't want it to take away from being on foot. I don't want you to be on foot and be wishing you were driving. But if this is too much fun, maybe I'll make a game just about this later. But I do want to have on foot be the main part of the game. Let's see if I can get over to these guys. Yeah, I definitely can. Okay. Huh. You can really climb stuff with this too. I'm a little worried about that. Like, players are going to get out of levels really easily using this guy. Have I trapped myself? I've never really tried doing this before. We won't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'll fix everything. Everything will be better later. Okay, so over here is just some puzzles I've been designing using these mechanics. Using the different weapons and the different... Actually, I haven't used any Splickney Javrail Splickney switches yet. That's going to be... I think it's because I'm designing the early puzzles first before you've unlocked those things. So these are just puzzles you can do with the basic scan. Blue objects are things you scan in order to activate them. So that door with blue, you scan it, it activates. This is an interactive, green is an interactive object, which you can either damage or go up to and press X in this case to interact with. So this is a damage switch. I shoot it, sequence starts playing. I didn't take away control from the character. I kind of like it that way. Speedrunners could really take advantage of that. Another one here. So if you haven't unlocked the repulsor rifle, you can't really get up there without doing all these puzzles first. If you've got the repulsor, you can just, well, I gotta do a little better than that. Oh, see, here's a problem. This is a problem with the blockout geometry, and I don't really know why that is. The blockout geometry acts weird in conjunction with the ALS, the Advanced Locomotion System mantling system. And it's not really going to be a problem in the final game, but it's a problem blocking out, because if I have to mantle something, sometimes it will put the characters somewhere else arbitrarily. And I think it has to do with the world space location of that object versus the local space. There's a conversion that happens when we're deciding where the character mantles. I'm not going to worry about it, because eventually all of this geometry will get replaced by real geometry. So it's kind of like there's no reason to worry about it. It does make testing a little difficult, though. Gray box testing. At least if you need to mantle to play. This is a really simple room, actually. You just activate these 3 switches, and then we just have to get up there. So here's a place where mantling is important, and notice I replaced the mantle geo with just a box. As long as it's just a regular Unreal Engine box, mantling works. So that's my workaround for right now. And those are the only puzzles I've actually built out yet. I have a bunch of puzzles sketched that I will do later, that I'll be working on as we move forward here. But this is kind of the state of this game as of May, 10th? Started this game in March. So it's making a lot of progress pretty quickly. I'm really happy about what I've accomplished so far. Obviously jumping off the shoulders of the Advanced Locomotion System, which is free on Unreal Engine's marketplace, but I think it's a good place to start, especially if you don't want to keep making your third-person shooters from the ground up every time you start a new one, which for me is often. I always have new ideas that stop me from doing my current ideas, but I'm trying a lot harder to finish stuff before I start new stuff. So this is hopefully a game that I will actually finish, even if it's small. And maybe if I make a small game and it's finished, maybe it'll be a little easier to make it into a larger game, because the small game's already finished. Only time will tell. But I'm enjoying working on it. I'm enjoying the state that it's in. I think it's really cool. I think it's going to be really cool, especially when I start getting art assets made. That's actually a big part of why I'm making this project, just because I want to make art assets for an entire little game. That mantle is wonky with this geo, but I'm trusting that with actual geo being brought in, the mantle will get better. That's all I really have to show in terms of this game. But I'm excited to post updates when I've done more. If this game looks cool to you, or if you're tired of waiting for Metroid Prime 4 like I am, let me know. Also, if there's any questions that came up during this showcase on how I do anything, or best practices. I mean, I don't know what best practices are necessarily. I'm still just kind of hacking away at the forest of mystery of creating a game myself. But I'll do my best to show you guys how I'm accomplishing anything that strikes out as oh, how did you do that? Just let me know, and I'll try to make videos on it as long as I have time to. I know I'm not great at doing that in a timely manner historically, but I'll do my best. I would like to be able to do that. So let me know and I'll see you in the next update.